Hey there Tone Chasers, I'm Robert and welcome back to Tone Chase Basement. I have something here today that really surprised me with its sound quality considering its price point, the Sonicake Matribox II multi-effects unit. Now if you've been following this channel, you know it's all about chasing that perfect tone, and today is no different, but before we plug this thing in, please hit that subscribe button below. This little unit packs a punch of 63 amp models, 61 cabinets and 93 effect pedal simulations. You can upload into it up to 15 own IRs and you have 10 simultaneous effect blocks that you can fill up. There is also a looper function and some drum rhythms in it, and you can use it as an audio interface both on PC and Mac platforms. And there is a bunch of connectivity options of course, so for a budget-friendly price which is around $230, it's really promising a lot. The thing is that digital multi-effect units for many years now are able to emulate effects such as delays, reverbs or modulations very good and realistically. And even the cheapest units can do a pretty good tape echo or a classic chorus or a phaser sound or anything else as well. So there is really no point in diving into these details because we already know that this unit can do it really good or at least acceptable for sure. But the most important thing of your sound is actually your sound. Makes sense, right? And your sound of course comes from the amp and the cabinet. After that you can color it with some delays and reverbs, but the real test lies within how good the amp models sound in this unit. So without any further ado, let's dive into this amp modeling test. The unit is connected directly to my MacBook through the USB port and I'm using it in the interface mode, so my UAD Apollo is not even in the chain now, so everything that you hear is recorded through the Matribox. I'm going to start with some clean amp models, so let's see how it handles some basic clean tones. Right off the bat, the clean tones are not bad, they are pretty convincing. It really nailed the typical character of the amps, there's a nice feeling to them, and it responds surprisingly well to my playing dynamics, unlike some other digital units I tried previously. And for a budget unit, this is impressive. Not perfect, but impressive. Next, let's push it into some crunch territory. Now, this is where some digital units start to show their limitations, so it will be very interesting to see how the Matribox II performs in this section. Now you might be wondering why the crunch tones are a critical test for a digital unit. Well, let me explain. Crunch tones sit in a sweet spot between clean and overdriven sounds, and they are characterized by a moderate amount of gain that adds some grit and texture to your sound without fully saturating the signal. And this intermediate stage is really tricky for digital units because they need to replicate the dynamic response and the subtle harmonic complexities of an analog amp. Today the higher end units, modelers, can do it pretty good because, you know, all these technological advancements led to very powerful processing power, And all those powerful chips can process your sound with every little program detail into an amp model so it would sound realistic. But many budget units might not have that kind of processing power, so they struggle here, and therefore they can either sound too harsh or too flat, lacking the warm organic feel of a real tube amp. When you're playing with a crunch tone, the unit needs to accurately capture the nuances of your picking dynamics, the interaction between the preamp and the power amp stages, and how the amp reacts to different playing techniques. This is a lot to ask from a digital processor, especially in a budget unit. So if the Matribox II can handle this task well, then it's a really strong indicator of its overall quality. So we'll start with some classic crunch tones for some rock rhythm tones and some funky lines as well. So the crunch tones are quite solid. There's a good amount of bite without sounding too harsh or too brittle. It has a very nice responsive feel that you would like from a real amp, which is a big plus. So now let's crank up the gain for some overdrive, which is crucial for all of us who love our hard rock tones. The higher gain tones are rich and full, it sustains well, and it retains clarity even with the higher gain settings. Again, the amps have the character, and that GCM 800 model just nails the sound. So again, for this price, it's really impressive. Alright metalheads, this one's for you. Now let's see how the Matribox II handles some high gain tones. Well, honestly, I didn't expect this. The high gain tones are tight and aggressive. There's a lot of definition and it doesn't get muddy, which is often the case with some budget units. And the Matribox II really captures the authentic characters of some recognizable high gain amplifiers. For instance, it captures the punchy articulate sounds of a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier or the thick saturated bits of a Bogner Ecstasy. There's also a very high number of good metal amp models in this unit, so if you're into metal, this definitely won't disappoint. One of the great features of the Matribox II is the ability to mix and match amp and cab models. This gives you a lot of flexibility to tailor your sound. And as we know, cab sounds are as important as the amp itself, or in some cases even more crucial in shaping your overall tone. Switching cabs can really change the character of your sound. For instance, if you pair a British amp with a 4x12 cabinet loaded with Celestion greenbacks, then it gives you that classic rock tone with tight low end and pronounced mid-range. But if you switch it, for example, to a 2x12 cabinet loaded with Alnico speakers, then it gives you that more smooth, more vintage tone with a nice chime on the top end. Or you can pair a Fender-like style amp with a modern oversized cabinet for that extended low end and shimmering highs, ideal for ambiental or indie music. To wrap up things, the Sonicake Matribox II offers a lot of bang for your buck. The amp models are surprisingly good. Honestly, I wasn't really blown away by the clean tones, but as we moved up the ladder on the gain stages, I liked it better every step further. So the crunch and overdrive tones are really rich and responsive, and the high gain tones are tight and aggressive. Plus the flexibility with amp and cab combinations, it adds even more value. But this is all just the tip of the iceberg, as we didn't even dive into the ambient effects or the overdrive and distortion pedals, and there's a plenty of them. But as I said previously, in this video I wanted to test the core of every sound, which is the basic amp tone. And if it sounds good, then you can easily add some overdrive and delay effects to fill it up more and make it sound even better. But if the thing fails at the core, then there's no even point going further. So if you're on a budget but still want quality amp sounds from a digital unit, then the Matribox II is a no-brainer. It really proves that you don't need to break the bank to get great sound. So if you're looking for a versatile, affordable multi-effects unit, then definitely check this out, I totally recommend it. Thanks for watching, please let me know in the comments below what you think about these amp models, if they sound real enough to you or you can still catch that digital sounding thing. And please like, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time. And remember, the perfect tone is always just within reach.